All right.
All right. How we doing, boys?
Good. How are you doing?
Living the dream. Trying to.
Live.
Are we actually live right now? I always get confused when we start. It says live up there.
Yeah, there we are.
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, we're live.
Okay. Cool.
We'll just hang out for a bit, let a few people come in. Oh, Brandon, I think you got your volume on, or Jose has his volume.
That's me. It's on my phone. My bad. How's everybody's Monday?
Man, can't complain.
Oh, hey, Brum. Before we start this, I wanted to get your opinion since I got roasted on Twitter by Travis and JP and Hose. But if you're eating wings, do you prefer ranch or blue cheese?
I like both. I'd probably say ranch is my
That's
number
what I
one.
said. I said you'd pick ranch. I still think it's better without any sauce, though.
Oh no. I won't agree with you on that one. I like ranch and blue cheese on my wings, but it just depends. Honestly, the restaurant, the type of wings. I don't know. I mean,
They're better dry, but if I had to pick a sauce, I'd go ranch.
yeah. I don't know. Wingstop has some good blue cheese and some good ranch. I don't know. I'll eat whatever. But I ranch is my number one. I have to say that.
I think ranch is actually winning in the comments here so far to get started. There's a couple blue cheeses in there, but ranch for the most part. Hose is a blue cheese guy. Hose, can you hear us? You've just been silent since we started.
He's shoveling his face with food. What are you eating?
It's
I don't even know what he's eating.
Eating dinner on the stream.
Not going to unmute himself.
Chick-fil-A.
Oh,
Good call, good call.
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Oh, yeah. It looks like there's quite a few
guys hear me?
ranches coming in.
Yeah, we
You
got
can't hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you guys not hear me?
Oh, jeez.
Hose is
Fucking hate
just
this internet,
moved.
boys.
He just moved, so he's got some internet issues going on at his new apartment.
I'm going to mute myself again so I can shovel more food, but you guys continue.
Okay.
All right. So as everyone's joining in, you can see Jose is enjoying his Chick-fil-A for dinner. Looks like a lot of people are saying ranch.
Yeah, ranch seems to be winning, which I'm glad because I was getting made fun of on Twitter for picking ranch.
Yeah, no. Weston said Mazzio's ranch greater than Hidden Valley. That's not even a debate. Mazzio's is 150 times better than Hidden Valley. Hidden Valley can't even be in the same threshold.
We need a midnight mass before the season starts. What do you think? I'm down.
Yeah.
How's it going? How's it going? We're piling up here before we get started. Just hanging out for a second. Do you think we get DJ Hicks? We're already starting.
Already getting a question.
Hose shakes his head no. I unfortunately agree. I'd love to get DJ Hicks, but I think he's going to go to A&M, kind of like you talked about. Hose has a theory that he ends up at Michigan State, right? Was it Michigan State? Because
that's what Jose
his
said.
Social media research. But I mean, he did some digging on it, and it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't buy the whole Michigan State at all. You know, that hype. Mel Tucker's doing a good job. I think there's a little legitimate shot that OU could land DJ Hicks, but I would just be – it's one of those recruitments that I wouldn't count on it, and if it ended up happening, I'd be pleasantly surprised. I still think even with or without DJ Hicks, I think this defensive line haul is going to be really good.
I mean, yeah, I do agree with you on that. You see Matty Brumbaugh's comment? Who the hell's Matty Brumbaugh?
I know. coming in. Yes, this is a
I'm
sports
back.
podcast.
Brian Hayes watching a rom-com at our request. We love to hear it, Brian. What you watching 50 First Dates by chance? That was my pick.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right.
So now that you're back, do you want to explain your DJ Hicks to Michigan State theory? I don't want to say it for you. I mean, I know the theory and I think it makes sense, but I don't want to. I mean, it's your theory, so I was going to give you the floor on it.
So if you guys look at some of the, let's take Sammy Omasigo, for example. Look at the picture that he posted when it was his top, was it 2 or 3? Or his top schools before he committed. And that silhouette of him when it just, just a black and white picture. That is the exact same picture he took when he went to his Oklahoma visit. So I did some digging on Stone. He posted a similar edit where it's a silhouette of him, trying to erase the colors of the school in both of his top 7 edits, and both of them are from his Michigan State visit. So I believe he's leaning Michigan State.
Stone or Hicks?
Sorry, Hicks. My bad. I saw Stone in the chat.
Okay. So you're a big Michigan State guy. I don't know. I mean, I could see it. It's a fair theory, but wasn't it? It's running at 50% right now. Wasn't there one guy that had an edit that committed to Oklahoma? Was it PJ?
Yeah, but see, that one is up to a challenge because on the white uniforms for Oklahoma, you can see the collar here. So it kind of looked like, but obviously on the Georgia ones, all of them have the collar. So that one's up to debate, but yeah, potentially a 50% hit rate. Or I guess we're just have to find out. I'm going to keep doing some digging when we see more of those edits. Because whoever's doing those is absolutely boning those kids. All you have to do is a little bit of research and you can find out where they're going.
Sean, yeah. Omasigo did say he's trying to recruit Troy Bowles. You kind
of see it all over the place. Yeah, not only Omasigo, but Phil Picciotti's also on that wagon. They're trying to form, I guess, those 3 linebackers. But yeah, that would be awesome. That would be the dream haul for linebackers. But I kind of agree.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a tough task.
I got a question for you guys. So with Phil Picciotti going to the IMG Academy, we've been saying, he's rated as a 3-star on 247. I mean, him going to the IMG Academy is going to get him. Everyone's going to see him. All the scouts, all the recruiting people. I think he almost immediately gets put up into the 4-star range. Without a doubt, do you agree?
The Dolphins don't suck.
Sorry,
Danny.
I didn't mean to interrupt it. I'm playing with this. As you guys can tell, we're not in our norm. We're not doing. We're using a new platform here, and like other guys, and I can finally click on things. And this one just kind of stuck out because Dolphins suck.
No, the Dolphins are pretty good. But going back to Phil Picciotti, I think Phil Picciotti would have got that 4-star even if he had stayed in Pennsylvania. I think it was coming inevitably. But just the fact that he's moving over to IMG Academy, I think is just going to accelerate that process. I think he's a very underrated kid. I talked about him and Heath Ozida as 2 very, very underrated commits that we got in this class, and I'm going to stick by that.
I definitely agree. And this is another way that OU is going to be able to move up in the team, class rankings. Is I think OU is going to have a few 3-stars that are going to turn into 4-stars. I mean, Omasigo's already gotten a bump on 247. I see him going up even higher. But PJ Adebawore could be going up to 5-star category. I do agree. The Dolphins are a poverty franchise.
I'm getting attacked. Hey, Brum, what was the Dolphins' record against the Patriots last year? Again, I'm going to bring that up if we're going to keep attacking the Dolphins. Did you beat us? Or did you get broomsticked, pal?
We went 0-2.
You got broomsticked? What is this? The Dolphins are good. Tua is good. Tua is going to be better than Justin Herbert by the time their careers are done, and I'll still die on that hill. It's not yet. That's another thing I got attacked on Twitter today. Travis said that I said Tua is the best quarterback in the league, and then he said, I said he was already Hall of Fame worthy. Clearly, he's joking with that stuff, but like, no, I just think he's better than people will give him credit for. He's going to take a big leap this year.
Did you guys see we made a safety's top 5 today?
I did. Honestly, it kind of.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere, right?
I didn't really know a whole lot about him. You're talking about Marvin Burks Jr.?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That guy.
I was actually going to bring that up to you guys. I have a yes. My pink shirt says "Late Girl."
Hello, Lisa.
It does say "Late Girl." It is what it is. It's one of my favorite shirts. But I was going to bring up a question to you guys off that because I did see we made that kid's top 5 or whatever. Do you think? And this is just a theory. I'm not saying this is happening. I'm not saying I have insider information or anything. But do you think by making Burks top 5, we're kind of moving past Peyton Bowen, maybe giving up on that one?
I don't think they're giving up, but I think they're moving on and starting to recruit just in case if Bowen never joins the fold. I think if by September, end of September, if Peyton Bowen is not switched to Notre Dame, I think Venables is going to move on from him at that point.
By what? You said November?
No, by September.
September. Okay.
Yeah, by end of September, early October, if he's not flipped at that point, I think he moves on. Not only about Burks, but OU also offered a kid out of South Florida, another safety, Anglin. I forget exactly what his name is. I will look that up, but they just recently offered another player at the safety position in the 2023 class.
I'm getting grilled today, all over the place. It's okay.
Washington. What about
Jeremiah?
Washington? Like the Commanders?
I think he's talking about the kid that Brum talked about in the recruiting video earlier today. His first name is escaping me. Yes, Amari. I could be wrong. Are you talking about Amari Washington, Jag Sooner?
Jeremiah Anglin Jr. is the recent offer.
Weston Sloan asked, is OU done with running backs for the 2023 class? He said after Smothers commits. I love the confidence. I think we're all pretty confident in Smothers committing, but yes, right? The answer to that is yes?
I would think so. I mean, unless they had a transfer that left, then I would think so. That way they would try to get someone else, but I don't think they're going to get anyone else.
Any upcoming commits we know about other than Smothers and LeBlanc? Peyton Kirkland sandwiched in between there and Brum. If you guys watched today's video, he's still holding out a pretty good level of confidence in regards to that one.
And to Kirkland, yeah. That lock is Anthony Hill. Man, I don't know. I don't know about that one.
What is going on today?
Okay, he said if you read the rest, he's actually asked, will PJ and Caden get 5 stars, and will that push the class to a top 5 ranking?
I don't think they'll get 5 stars.
I think PJ is the only one that's got an opportunity to bump up into that 5-star range. And it's like we mentioned in this morning's video, it's because he is so fresh at that position that he's so highly ranked at this point. But, also like Parker said, once you get into that high 4-star range, it's very difficult to get pushed up any higher than that to the 5th star. But, never say never.
But there's still a chance we can end up with a top 5 class even without those two things happening, without those guys being bumped to a 5th star, if things go, pretty perfect.
Yeah, I would definitely agree that PJ would be the most likely candidate to get the 5th star. Someone that could get a 5th star out of this whole class is Petaway. But like Parker Thune said, it's tough for wide receivers to be getting, their 4th to the 5th star late in their senior season.
Jimmy Satterfield, my guy. The only other Dolphins fan I know who watches this show. Jimmy will stick together.
Yeah, Jag Sooners got it right. We got 100 people watching. Thank you all for watching. Let's everyone share the link. Go on Twitter, Facebook, whatever your preferred social medias and tell everyone we're on here. Let's grow this live. We're trying to break our record from last time. I think you guys said it got to like 170 or 180, something like that.
168 was the highest it got, I believe. Did we ever tweet out the link? Probably need to tweet out the link if we
Did
haven't.
you guys see Omasigo tweet a lock today? That's in the chat. I didn't see him tweet a lock today.
It just happened 8 minutes ago. I just hopped on Twitter
Holy
just to
shit.
see.
Is that Troy Bowles?
I don't know.
When is Troy Bowles' commitment date? Isn't that next Saturday, the 16th?
Did he come?
That,
Did he announce it?
that sounds right. Hang on.
I want to say Troy Bowles commits the 16th.
Yeah, that is July 16th. You are correct. This Saturday.
Dude,
I mean,
what if it's Troy Bowles? See, if it's Troy Bowles, that's how you start moving towards the top 5 class. If you land a Troy Bowles, you land a Derek LeBlanc potentially, you land a Peyton Kirkland potentially. There's still some dogs coming, but Dalen Smothers, who we're pretty confident in. Richard Young,
I'm tweeting out now.
Yeah, I think
Roman's-
Richard Young from Oregon. Lewis
Dan
Carter,
Lanning's
more
doing a
likely.
pretty good. Oh, Lewis
Yeah.
Carter. Yeah, that's a good call.
I don't think it's
Rum-
Akana yet. Someone mentioned potentially Akana. I don't think we're quite there yet, just because he still needs to visit at the end of the month.
Yeah. I mean, Jacoby Johnson could be. That's a fair question mark because
Jacoby Johnson, he doesn't have a commitment date set in this. No, I didn't think so.
no, but neither did PJ Adebawore. He kind of came out of nowhere and gave like 2 days notice and then committed. I don't know.
I feel like it's a linebacker, though, just because Omasigo tweeted it out. Like when Joshua Bates tweets out a lock, you know it's a lineman.
All right, let's all make a guess. Everyone put your guesses in the chat. I think I would love it to be Bulls, but I think it could be Colton, just like Jag.
Colton Vasek. Yeah, that's
Because they've all been like hounding him on social media. I think that's a chance.
It's a good point. The players usually don't just start tweeting, potential recruits randomly. They generally have an idea something's going on. Lewis Carter is a very good, very realistic option here. I'm gonna just take the optimistic route and say that it's Troy Bowles. Why not?
Or Bulls or LeBlanc.
I mean,
I think it'd be a little early, right, for LeBlanc.
Could it be
LeBlanc
Smothers?
is not to the end of the month.
Could it be Smothers?
I mean, it could be, but don't you think a linebacker would tweet about a linebacker lock? I mean, Joshua Bates tweets about linemen.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Let's
I
just
mean-
say it's Troy Bowles.
I mean, that would be awesome. I mean, Vasek could be that guy too. Lewis Carter, I don't know if he would jump on the board, jump in the boat just quite yet. I don't know. I feel like he's still kind of deep in his recruitment. I don't feel like it's wrapping up. It could be.
Troy Bowles does announce his commitment on Saturday, so that's a thing.
When did Bulls get his crystal ball? I know he's crystal ball to Georgia, like LD23 mentioned here, but I thought it was a while ago that he got one.
He's got
Georgia Insider, I thought.
four to Georgia. Wilt Fong just came in on 7-8 on July 8th, so 3 days ago.
Damn.
Yeah, to Georgia.
Yeah,
So
all right, well,
it's probably not Bulls.
probably not Bulls.
You guys see the Zach Wilson comment? That's pretty good.
He's
That's
got some
pretty
dog
good.
in him. He does have some dog in him. Man, what a guy.
What a guy, yeah. Colton Vasek, though.
Yeah, I
that
think
would be
this
a
has
pleasant
gotta be
surprise there.
Yeah, I agree. Colton Vasek would be awesome because I kind of had it wrapped up in my head, and I think Jose disagreed with me. I thought Vasek, and maybe you agree with me, Brandon. I thought Vasek was good as gone, to be honest.
Yeah.
But then they had some tweets where Jackson Arnold, a few others tweeted at him, "Hey, what are you doing?" I started looking at his favorites or Vasek's likes or favorites. A lot of OU on there. Now there's some Oregon stuff, but there's like no Texas.
If he gets on Twitter sometime today or tomorrow and announces he's committing this weekend or something, I think we'll have a pretty good feel, a general idea that it could be Colton Vasek.
These lines, the recruiting in the trenches is impressive this cycle. with
here I got
the entire offensive line pretty much getting revamped.
I got a hot take for you guys. I was listening
bud.
to the ref on the way to the gym this morning, or not this morning, this afternoon. I don't wake up early enough to go to the gym at like 5 a.m. That's ridiculous. But they were talking on the ref, and I don't know that I agree to it yet, but I think it could happen. One of the guys said that Coach, why is his name escaping me? Our DN coach,
Chavis. Miguel Chavis?
He said Miguel Chavis is already better at recruiting than Jamar Cain. Essentially, that's what he said. What do you think?
I mean,
Who said that?
I think they're kind of even at this point. Jamar Cain. It's hard to say that Jamar Cain is a bad recruiter. And he did bring in Clayton Smith, 5-star. You know, he coached Nick Bonito. I think they're even. I think for as young as his career is, yeah.
24/7 has Jamar Cain as a top 10 recruiter in the country, I think, on their list.
I don't know. Jamar Cain has gotten a few commits recently at LSU. That's put him up. You know, he's doing well. But I think Chavis is kind of somewhat unproven because he's coming from Clemson and he wasn't like the defensive end coach there, and he's already recruiting at a high level. So I feel like his ceiling is extremely high. So by 2024, he might be recruiting at way better than what Jamar Cain could. I mean, I'm not going to say Jamar Cain is a slouch by any means, but it seems like Chavis really connects with these players and these recruits. And
yeah, I mean, that's what he said. He said it's not a slight to Jamar Cain because Jamar Cain is a hell of a recruiter, but he compared Coach Chavez to a younger version of Brent Venables, which is, I mean, that's high praise. But Chavez has done a good job since the second he got on campus. So we'll let it play out. Speaking of beers that got commented, Hose, when are you doing your shotguns that you owe us? Or at least one of them.
I guess the audio is delayed for him.
Yeah, maybe he can't hear us.
Yeah, the internet's rough. Okay, so I'm trying to look through these comments since Jose seems to be kind of frozen. Oh, he's clicking.
Maybe his audio is just not there. Hose, can you hear us?
I accidentally transported.
We're losing.
Yeah,
him.
No kidding. Yeah. So, anyway, he's going to be coming, a little bit in and out throughout this stream. It seems like.
Who's the next big one to recruit? Or to, yeah, there it is right there. Dalen Smothers, Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday. I mean, Oh, all right. Jose has.
We lost him.
All right.
Yeah, as soon as we start talking about shotgunning, he runs away. That's what happened,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So now that he was running the stream, I don't know if I can highlight any other comments. So Brandon, we're going to be.
LD23 says, "I know Drum and Thune gave y'all inside info. Spill the beans." Are we getting the Blanc? I wish we had inside info.
Yeah. No kidding. No, Parker Thune, what you guys saw with Parker, what he said is what we got.
Speaking of just about our show and content in general and stuff, you guys seem to really enjoy that Parker Thune video just based off viewers compared to other videos. Do you want to try to see us get more of those types of guests? The Parker Thunes again, maybe a Brandon Drum, just the recruiting insiders. Do you guys prefer that to, the 23 class? We had Joshua Bates on there. What do you guys think?
Yeah, today's video did pretty well, or it's doing pretty well. If you guys haven't seen that, once the stream's over, you should probably definitely go check it out. All right.
Are we still in on Vickers? Yes. He drops his top 3 tomorrow, and I think I think for sure OU's in there.
Yeah, and there was a while where I thought, it seemed like OU was trending away, or Vickers was looking at Alabama, but Alabama picked up 2 5-star commits. And while we might, we don't want to be the second choice, but sometimes we just have to play. That plays in our favor. I feel like if OU can get him on campus one more time, it'll be pretty good.
Has Edric Hill committed anywhere? No. And that's the guy that Caden Green appears to be pushing pretty hard for.
Yeah. Have we really talked about the Edric Hill kind of story?
We've not, and to be honest, you're going to have to fill me in on his story too, or at least his whole story.
Yeah, so Edric Hill is, another Kansas City area kid. He's close with PJ Adebore. He was dead set on wanting an OU offer, and OU wanted to see him before they offered him. So he came in as a 2023 guy and camped on campus and, worked out and performed, and he finally got his offer. And OU just was dragging their feet on the offer because they were just dead set on needing to see him before they offered him. And now, it seems like OU is in a dogfight with Alabama and Georgia and a few others. You guys late. You're fired. Yeah, OU slow played Edric Hill, and they're playing a little bit of catch up, but it seems like OU's going to get a shot with him.
This is one of my favorite questions that Jose just asked. How good realistically will OU be this year? 9, 10, or 11 wins. I know I'm a big fan, and I come out a little bit biased at times, but I don't think there's any chance this team loses 3 games. I don't see 9-3 as a realistic possibility at all. I think that they're going to run the Big 12 pretty much. I think that we're going to be right there ready to run against anybody in the Big 12. When it comes down to what I kind of think it's going to be an 11-1 season. I think we'll drop 1 game. I don't know to who, but it's hard to go undefeated. It always is. But I see him going 11-1. What about you?
I think I said on our show when we went on to JP and Trav sooner, or Travis Scholes live stream, I said 10-2. I do think that OU very well could go 11-1, 12-0. I just think it's hard to go perfect in your first season with a whole new staff. Denny, I'm glad we're helping you through, and we appreciate being your number one OU show.
To anybody who says 2 losses, like Brum said, or 10 wins, who are the 2 losses? That's what I asked you on the Travis show and in JP show, and you brought up Oklahoma State and Texas. There's no way we lose to Oklahoma State 2 years in a row. I will bet the farm on it, and especially not at home in Norman. No, not happening. So that I almost take that one out of it. Baylor's tough. I kind of see Baylor as the only team that might be able to beat us this season, and I feel good about it because it's in Norman.
Well, but Texas, as much as Texas is a joke, I mean, it doesn't matter because it's a rivalry. They're going to get up for the game. OU's going to get up for the game. It doesn't matter the record or the rankings. I don't know. I'm just trying to not set my expectations too high. If OU goes 10-2 and they might be in the Big 12 championship and win a Big 12 championship and go to the New Year's Six Bowl first year with Venables, I'd be happy with that. Anything better than that, that's awesome for me.
Ian says no Baylor as potential losses. That Nebraska game is sneaky. I kind of on that same Travis and JP show, I said that would be a close game. I think we win, but I think we squeak out of it. I mean, it's going to be tough going into Lincoln with everybody against us. But you on that show predicted that OU runs them out of the water in Lincoln.
I think so, and I put on a hot take that Scott Frost might get canned after that game. If it's ugly, he might get fired. Oh, do you think Stripling will start over Clayton Smith? I think so.
He had one of the best spring games of anybody on the team. He had, I think, 2 or 3 sacks by himself. Yeah. I think there's a good chance he starts over Clayton Smith. Kind of going off of what I said on the JP show, I would like to see Clayton Smith start because he's that 5-star guy that we were all excited about when he committed. He didn't really get a chance to play as a freshman. But I said the same thing about Theo Weiss. Theo Weiss, obviously, he's been there for longer. But for Theo Weiss, it's now or never. I guess Clayton Smith has a little bit of time. But I would like to see Clayton Smith take the next step.
Yeah, and Marcus Stripling, I think there was a thought where he might actually entering the transfer portal, or he was thinking about it, and he decided to stick it out. I think he's going to turn the corner and have a great year between Stripling, Reggie Grimes, Ethan Downs. I think they're going to be a trio. And Clayton Smith probably will get in there as well. Wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, welcome back.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Oh,
I got
yeah.
you. Hose, can you confirm or deny away because I asked you about shotgunning beers?
Hey.
I asked you when are you going to shotgun, and then as soon as I said that, your internet went out, or you ran away, or got scared. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, so they got transported to the other apartment, so I don't have anything to shotgun. I had some cold sweet tea though.
Yeah. Hey, we're 44 guys. We're 44 away from 200. Come on, help us out. Go retweet that tweet we put out. Send a text. Some of your friends, get them in here. We're going to go for 200 tonight.
Isaiah Coe 8 sacks. Oh, I'm taking the under. And just because it's hard for a nose tackle, D tackle right in the middle to get 8 sacks. I think. What do you guys think?
I think it's extremely hard, and I think Jeffrey Johnson and Jalen Redmond are going to be guys that are going to be taking sacks away from Coe. If he has 8 sacks, he might be a first day kind of guy, or second round pick in the NFL draft if he has 8 sacks. But he could.
We should run the question that we were asked on the Indy Sooner stream, the very last question, to the fans here, because I would love to see their comments. We were asked on that show, who do you guys think that started last year under Lincoln Riley and Grinch and all that will not start under Brent Venables and company? So a starter from last year who doesn't start under the new regime. My answer to that was Eric Gray.
And
I said Deshaun White.
Yeah, your answer was
bold with Deshaun White.
I didn't say DJ Graham because Travis took it from me. I think DJ Graham is a candidate for that. I think I said, was it Wanya Morris? But he wasn't an all-year starter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
I really struggled. Okay. But I do think DJ Graham is a likely candidate for potentially, losing out. I don't know. I floated around the idea of Drake Stoops, but Travis said, he has some connections, and he says that, Drake Stoops is having the best spring ever that he's ever had, and he's doing extremely well. And I just saw today a report that confirmed that he is tearing it up. Drake Stoops, here's the deal. Could he be the next Hunter Renfrow? We're just going all Clemson, and could Drake Stoops have a Hunter Renfrow kind of year and get drafted and do well?
It's possible. He's a good route runner. He just has to be able to get there.
Oh, Jordan Cornwell said Broyles. That's actually a really good point. I know Broyles, he started most of the year. There were some games I'm pretty sure he didn't start, but looks like Jose actually stepped away. So it looks like it's just me by myself for a second. I'm not sure what's going on. Oh, there he is. He's back.
Can you hear me still?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, David Awebu. That's kind of I think that's possible. Maybe more possible than White.
What I missed.
Oh, look.
So a couple names got thrown out. What about Broyles or David Awegbu?
I could see Agwegbu getting benched. I think Jaron Kanek is going to have a big year. I know Hose big Kip Lewis. But I can see it. I'm going to get the party started with
I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick.
with the good old Corona extra.
Yeah.
Okay, well, everybody leaves me.
No, hang on. I'm going to the bathroom.
Can you hear me, Bunnet?
Yeah, I got you. Billy Bowman is an answer in there. I kind of like that one as somebody.
But Billy got benched last year. So that's why I didn't name him. It's possible, though. Most likely corner because we brought in the transfer from the transfer portal. That's a good
That
point.
that's what.
Yeah, but I think. Well, we've said it. I'm not sure how long everyone's been watching, but it was probably like a month and a half ago, maybe longer. We did our like starting lineup by position, and I think we all agreed Woody Washington is Woody Washington is going to stick around in that starting lineup.
Oh, Sean Hall, I appreciate you, brother. What are you sipping on tonight? I want myself a couple Coronas to get to for this live stream. Key Lawrence. See, that's another one that someone else said that too, and I don't think there's any chance Key Lawrence does not start. That's just my opinion. I think Key Lawrence was the most consistent defensive back we had all of last season. So I don't see how or why he would get benched. I feel like he's got him and Woody Washington, in my opinion, are the only two who are locked in to start.
You know, I heard, I still have my headphones in. You guys were talking about Billy Bowman. I think Billy Bowman starts alongside of Key Lawrence at the safety position. I really think Billy Bowman's going to start. I mean, have you guys seen that picture that was floating around Twitter, I don't know, a week or so ago of Billy Bowman?
There you go, Nicholas. I chugged it.
Looks like Schmitty got a hold of him pretty good. Key will play safety. Key Lawrence is going to play safety. That's for sure. And then, so Brandon, we're talking about, I was reading a report today. They were kind of saying that they think it's going to be Key and Billy as the safeties, or Billy's still working his way into it. But they mentioned, like you've been saying, that Jaden Rowe could compete for start or playing time at that nickel spot. While he is a semester behind because he didn't graduate early and enroll early, Jaden Rowe, at 6'3", 217 pounds and running a 4.4 at the nickel position, especially if we're playing against a team with a great tight end or something. Jaden Rowe. I've
been saying it since he committed. He's far and away my favorite recruit or commit of the 2022 class, and he is easily, in my opinion, I don't think it's be all that close. I know Jaron Kanek is a very popular answer here. I know Kobe McKenzie's a popular answer here. But Jaden Rowe is going to be the best recruit in the 2022 class for us. It might be bold or whatever, but I've been saying that since we got him. You just mentioned it. That skill set is ridiculous. The dude is 6'3", 6'4", but he runs like a gazelle, and he can play linebacker. He can play safety. I just think Brent Venables can do so many things with him. I think he's easily going to be the best safety in the 2022 class. I would love to see him start this year. I didn't think he'd start this early, but
I don't necessarily think that Jaden Rowe will start, but he could be a guy that could come in on certain packages in certain positions, certain reasons why. But Trey Morrison, Georgia Boy Boomer pointed out, Trey Morrison is going to compete for that nickel spot, I think, in my opinion. Or it could be a rotation if Billy Bowman struggles at the safety position. Trey seemed to play everywhere when he was at North Carolina.
We're deep there, but a couple names have been popped up here. Harrington had a great spring game, I think, in my opinion, and I think he's a guy that could sneak his way into the lineup that no one really talks about. Kenai Walker's had a hell of a spring. That is another guy I think can play. And CJ Colden. So, I penciled in Woody Washington as a starter because I think he had a great year. The Wyoming transfer, I think CJ Colden has a chance to start on the other outside spot. You mentioned DJ Graham as a guy who could lose that starting spot. I don't know if it happens right away, but I think CJ Colden could ultimately end up being a starter on the outside.
Yeah, this is the first time I feel like in a long time, as far as the defensive backs, that OU has too deep everywhere. If someone struggles, they can look at someone on the bench and say, hey, get in there, and they can compete at the highest level. Is Rowe at Cheetah, a corner, a safety? See, Matt, Jose hasn't highlighted your comment yet. That's the thing that Brandon's been mentioning.
That's why I think he has so much upside. is because he doesn't have he doesn't have to have a true position. He can play so many spots on the field, and I think we will take advantage of that.
Yeah. Jose Blanco, what about the 2022 receivers? Nick Anderson and Jaden Gibson. We're high on both of them, but man, Jaden Gibson, he looked really good in that spring game. I know we have to take everything with a grain of salt, but we haven't had a receiver in recent memory that's been 6'5" that can be that dominant. I mean, can you think of a last time OU's had a dominant 6'5", 6'6" wide receiver? I can't. Off the top of my head.
No. Jaden Gibson to me is like a 6'5" CeeDee Lamb with what he can do after the catch. He's a tough dude to bring down. Kind of like CeeDee was. I don't think he's CeeDee Lamb, or he's not CeeDee Lamb yet, because I think CeeDee Lamb is the best receiver in the history of Oklahoma. I know the stats aren't there to back it up, whatever, but I think the play in the field, CeeDee Lamb is the best receiver in Oklahoma history. But I think Jaden Gibson has a lot of that in him, but just a lot bigger.
Keep up with the Texas speed. I would
all
say
gas,
so.
No brakes.
Yeah. It's I don't know. They're doing well right now, but how about that Jonte Cook and Jaquez Petaway going back and forth, and Caden Green was joining in on it on that Twitter deal last night. I thought that was pretty funny.
Oh, that was fantastic. Jaquez for Prez. Again, I need your guys' help coming up with a better nickname, because I admit that one's not great. I wish his name was Jaquazi. Jaquazi Go Crazy was Percy Harvin.
Percy
Harvin. They're similar size, similar stature. They both run that jet sweep kind of stuff, or bubble screens, or there's a lot. They're both returners, kick returner, punt returner. I think there's a lot of similarities in Jaquez Petaway and Percy Harvin.
That's a high praise. I remember, Lord have mercy, here comes Percy. I mean, another one could be Tavon Austin. What do you think about Tavon Austin?
That's fair too. I mean, yeah, it's a similar game and style too.
The next top 100 player. Well, Smothers isn't it?
Yeah, he's not.
Smothers isn't.
I feel like just going off crystal balls and his own social media picture and his retweet of Sooner Nation, we're coming, I would say Derek LeBlanc. Yeah,
I would agree. I mean, it seems like even a Florida insider crystal balled him to Oklahoma, like in the last week or so. I would say LeBlanc, in my opinion.
Although, if Troy Bowles pulls, I know that's a long shot, but Troy Bowles commits Saturday. That would be really cool to see.
Yeah. Yeah, Brandon's going to be out at basic, so Jose and I are going to be holding it down. But I think something that Jose and I are planning to do is every game day morning, I think we're going to kind of have a, maybe at 9 a.m. Central or something like that, we're going to have maybe an hour where we'll talk, question, debate, and all that stuff about the upcoming opponents and other Big 12 games and things like that.
But once I come back from basic, baby, I'm joining you.
Well, yeah, because you come back, what is it, like mid-December?
10 weeks.
Yeah, somewhere in there. So Brandon will join us at some point. What about Tebow Payne, Jordan Addison, and Cole's Cash? That's awesome.
I love it. I hope he stays pissed off the whole time, if that's even true. Those rumors. I hope. Obviously, I hope that it's horrible. I hope Jordan Addison is regretting his decision, and I hope Lincoln Riley loses a lot of games.
Yeah, that's going to be dividing the locker room. Oh, do we expect Javonte Barnes as the starter by end of the year, and how does Sawchuk factor in? Well, I can speak for both of us. We're both extremely high on Javonte Barnes. Gavin Sawchuk, part of me thinks Sawchuk's going to redshirt because he's a little bit behind. But yeah, Jimmy, you're right. He's one of the fastest, if not the fastest player on the team. I don't know. It's really hard for me to say because, Brandon, that's why you picked Eric Gray to not be a starter by the end of the year, because those two freshmen are going to be tough to beat out.
To answer his question, I do ultimately see Javonte Barnes becoming a starter at some point in the season. I think he's really, really good. I'm very excited to see him play. I kind of agree with Keaton here. I don't think Gavin Sawchuk sees the field this season. But I definitely think Javonte Barnes will eventually become the starter.
Yeah. Hurdy. Yeah. Matt, I totally agree. This has been a total 180. Do you remember this running back room where it felt like if one player got hurt, we didn't know who would be playing next last season? I mean, with Marcus Major having off-the-field issues or academic issues and everything else, it's a total different feel now. And I think this is the way it's going to be as long as DeMarco Murray is the running backs coach. And I hope he's there for a long time because I see him getting an offensive coordinator job at some point.
That's a bold take. I agree with Javonte Barnes. Tawi Walker. Sean Hall's going with Tawi Walker. And he did have a hell of a spring game. I mentioned Justin Harrington a little bit ago as a guy that I think could have a chance. Tawi Walker kind of fits that description as a guy no one's talking about, but could maybe do it. What do you think on that? That's an interesting take.
Yeah, Tawi Walker, I think when he first initially transferred to Oklahoma, because he's coming from California as a JUCO kid, I think I made the comparison to like a Ramondre Stevenson. Similar frame. No, not just because they're friends, but they have similar play style. I mean, they run people over. And when it comes to November and December, when it's time to win, those are the type of guys you want. While you do want Gavin Sawchuk and Javonte Barnes that are extremely fast, you need the guys that can run up the middle and just run over people.
There's Tony G agrees with you.
Yeah. No, he's going to nom up some yards. Yep.
Yeah, he impressed, I think, all of Sooner Nation at that spring game. He put together a good one.
If he puts together a good season, I could see him being on scholarship before the end of the year. If he gets his opportunities, especially if Marcus Major can't stay on the field, whether he's injured or one thing or another, Tawi Walker is going to be the beneficiary of that, in my opinion.
You think the lock is for? We kind of talked about that earlier. I think it could be. We're hoping it's Troy Bowles. We tossed around Colton Vasek as a possibility, Lewis Carter as a possibility.
Or it could be Dalen Smothers. I'm not sure if maybe Samuel Omosigo just got word that Smothers, has silently committed. I don't know. Troy Bowles would be awesome, but I don't know. It seems a little far-fetched.
I'm going to let you answer this one first.
I just saw that before we got on. I think someone said that the last time that Alabama did this, they got Tua and Mac Jones, and we saw how that ended up. It just depends on the mindset of the kid and, the two guys that committed. It seems like the second guy that committed, it obviously committed knowing that there was another quarterback already on the roster or committed in this class. Doesn't seem to be scared of competition. What does the other guy think?
I think competition is always good. I mean, I have no problem with it. I mean, the Commanders, when they were the Redskins, did the same thing when they drafted RG3, and then in the 5th round took Kirk Cousins. Ultimately, Kirk Cousins ended up being the guy. I have no problem with a little competition, and it's hard to question or doubt what Nick Saban does just off of what he's put together these past decade.
I would agree. I mean, I think competition's great. It's just a matter of will they stick through with their commitments.
You see what Brian just commented? I know the quarterback whisperer couldn't handle two. That's fantastic. And I agree. That guy could never.
Yeah. Really looks like Arnold. Yeah.
The answer to that is yes.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you're the MVP of the Elite 11, Arch. While he does come from a great family lineage and everything, I don't know. He's just not, and he plays what 2A, 3A in the state of Louisiana, and Jackson Arnold's playing in Texas football. As
Just
5A, 6A, or whatever it is.
the level of competition. Arch Manning doesn't even go to these camps and compete and stuff like Elite 11. I think he might get exposed. I do think Arch Manning's going to be good. I think he's with the family history and growing up and learning from Peyton and Eli and those guys. I think it's impossible for him to not be at least good or average. But I do think Jackson Arnold is going to be the better player.
Yeah.
Here's a great question from Bingham. What do you think?
Naturally, I would think Jeff Lebby. I think he'd be the first one to go, in my opinion.
I'm gonna say, unfortunately, Todd Bates.
Yeah, maybe. That's a good point.
Is my internet shady again?
No, we can hear you now. Do you have an answer to this question?
Yeah, I'm going to answer it quick, then I'm going to step off it. I think it's Jay Valai.
Jay Valai?
What? Really?
Yeah, dude, that guy homie hops in a good way. He's going up, but that's my answer.
Man.
By the way, we have officially set our record. We're at 175. We appreciate you guys. Last time we got 168, 166, something like that. Either way, I know this is the record, so we need your support, and this is a good.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get to 200. We're gonna stay on here at least for until we get to that point. I guess within reason, of course. We're still rolling. I'm ready to roll.
By the way, Hose did just call Jay Valai a homie hopper.
Yeah. Oh, he's just going to come back in and
just when we call him out. We couldn't hear. Oh, there he's gone again.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's a fair point. Yeah, Valai is moving up. He's taking jobs elsewhere, but I think he's going to be at least a few more years.
Sean Hall even agrees with Valai as a potential for the next head coaching gig. That's an interesting take. I don't see Jay Valai as the next head coach on staff. I think Levy or Todd Bates are the easy answers. You're muted. Your internet's not working.
I muted myself. My bad. I'm going to try to explain this before I am thrown off again by the internet. He has moved around a lot, and it's not a bad thing. He's moving up, like Brum said. I just think that's his goal ultimately, is to be a head coach. And yeah, he'll probably need to get an opportunity as a defensive coordinator, but he's going to leave first, in my opinion.
Jose, stay in here for just a few minutes. I'm gonna take the dog out real quick, so you hang out with Brandon. I'll be back in just a few minutes.
Well, I hope my internet doesn't hold us back, bud. Let me see.
I appreciate you trying. We have a Ted Roof comment in the comments from David Whitehead. As far as the next guy take the job.
Well, was it leave or?
I believe it was the next OU coach to leave for a head coaching job. I think was the question.
Oh yeah, for a head coaching gig.
Yeah, I think Todd Bates.
I think Ted Roof needs a lot to get back to that stature. I think he's got this position because he has experience and he knows Venables. But if you look at his jobs before, he was an analyst. And I'm not sure if he can jump up all the way to head coach so quickly. Not that it's impossible, but he would need to have this defense humming for at least 2 years before they get there.
I think not only his ability to coach, though, like Todd Bates at the end of the day is one of the best recruiters in the country. And that is something that schools are going to look for when they're hiring their head coaches. So I think that plays in his favor as well.
Here, let's move to another.
Can you go to – someone asked a good question just a second ago. Oh, it was Matt Bingham. Which receiver surprises us the most? Are we allowed to say Jalil Farouk here?
I don't know if it's
Or
a
is that
surprise.
too mainstream?
It's main. Well,
Not a
do you want to
surprise.
get? Or we might also get him drunk. Remember, if you guys watch the JP and Trav show,
We're doing shots with Jalil Farouk.
if you're gonna say surprise, I think you'd have to. I really think the only one that would be able to do it is Jaden.
He said you can't. You couldn't
I
pick
know.
Jaden Gibbs. Oh, okay.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one because Jalil. I guess that's the only good answer here. Like, if you want like a surprise, I think it'd have to be one of the transfers, in JJ Hester or LB Bunkley, and I'm not sure how ready they are to get playing time.
He said that Jalil Farouk is not. We can't use Jalil Farouk. It wouldn't be a surprise. Shoot, that makes it. Then it has to be one of those two. And I think LV Bunkley Shelton of the two has the better chance, I guess. Oh, Brian Brown, we appreciate you coming over after seeing us on the JP Travis show. That's pretty cool.
Welcome.
And yes, welcome.
Let's see.
Someone else asked a good question about USC and UCLA. There it is. Yeah. Do you want to start on that one?
All right, here's the thing, and I'm going to try to be not too homerish, because obviously we are not fans of the Trojans here. I think that if USC has a coach that can handle that market, they can be very good. But they haven't had one of those since Pete Carroll. And outside of USC, you can look at other big market schools like Texas. They have absolutely sucked since Mac Brown. They've been meh. They've had their really good seasons, but they haven't been great. And I think it's similar for USC. And I don't think Lincoln Riley's that guy. I think if you guys are on Twitter, even like today, their fans are starting to question him. Like, he is having a really hard time with recruiting the offensive line. And on this show, we believe you have to recruit the big guys. And if you can't protect Caleb Williams, his prized possession, that team is going to win 9 or 10 games in the Pac-12, and by the time they get to the Big Ten, it's going to be a tough one. Because someone commented on our video when that first happened and we were talking about it. It's all going to depend on how they divide the conference, right? If they do 2 divisions still, then they're fucked. Like, someone like the guy was pretty much trying to say, well, why can't this be a good thing for USC or UCLA? Because, the Big Ten's going to help us out by giving us, not too many cold weather games. It's like, dude, most of the Big Ten is going to be in the part of the country that's going to get cold pretty quickly. Even if it's not like frigid cold. When's the last time USC, LA got below 50? They don't have to be freezing cold. They just have to be a little cold for them to start feeling the effect of that wind, of the weather. And then if they don't but then also with USC, like, I feel like Notre Dame is a big game for them, and they might have to stop scheduling that unless Notre Dame joins that conference, because the Pac-12 only has 6 teams per division, and they're going to, upgrade to 8. That really limits them because they have to do the Battle of LA. Like, that's a given, and that's at the end of the season. Now they have to schedule 6 other teams, and there's no way that they're gonna, have a cupcake game or not have a couple cupcake games at the beginning or middle of the season, however the Big Ten does it, to make sure that they can pad their schedule. Like, that just wouldn't make sense. I think overall, like, it's going to be a while, and they're going to need. I mentioned in this morning's episode, I think if somehow they can keep Sean Nua around for long enough, he can be their saving grace in the Big Ten. But that would also require him to not leave if Lincoln Riley left or Grinch got fired. There's a lot of things in the way before they can be successful. But it's possible, but long shot.
I think I'm gonna go back to what you said the first time. I think they're fucked in the Big Ten. I think And in my opinion, there's two things that I think don't favor them in this. One is the style of play in that cold weather. When they go over to Iowa, when they go to Ohio State, when they go to Michigan in the big house, it's going to be cold, and the style of play is totally different. They're going to run dives and sweeps, and they're going to hit USC in the mouth, and they're going to fold. I genuinely think they're going to fold to that. And secondly, I know people say that this move to the Big Ten, when it's the Big Ten is the second best conference in college football. And people say that might help USC recruiting. I actually think it's going to do the exact opposite of that. I think kids aren't going to want to have to travel 1,200 miles at least for every single road game that they're a part of. Like that's a lot of traveling. And on the other side of that note, I think this is going to help Ohio State recruiting. It's going to help Michigan recruiting. It's going to help Iowa recruiting, Penn State recruiting, because these kids now, they still get to play their home games, or not their home. Everybody gets to play their home games at home, but Penn State, Iowa, Ohio State, Michigan, they don't have to travel 1,500 miles for every single road game. But now they get once a year or once every other year, they get to go to Southern Cal for a road game. That's kind of fun. I think ultimately it's going to help the big bloods or the Ohio States, the Michigans of the Big Ten, and it's going to hurt USC recruiting just because I don't think kids want to travel 1,500 miles for every single road game.
I know exactly what you guys are talking about as I joined in. Not only, just my thoughts, not only is it talking about football or basketball, but thinking about every other athlete, swimming, track, anything that's not, quite as big as football. Every single one of their games or meets or whatever that's not at home is going to be forever away. And a lot of those programs or a lot of those teams don't get chartered flights. They have to go, they get their plane tickets paid for, but they have to go to LAX and fly into somehow get into Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm assuming that there's not a direct flight to Lincoln, Nebraska, or West Lafayette, Indiana from LA. I don't know. You're going to be on the road all the time.
Yeah. I think it ultimately does end up hurting their recruiting. I really do. There's probably not a direct flight into College Station, or not College Station, Happy Valley, whatever Penn State. Yeah, they're going to have to, what they're going to have to do ultimately, they're going to have to set up some sort of like hub in the middle of the country somewhere that I'm serious. Instead of flying back all the way to Southern Cal, they're going to have to and I don't know how that's going to work academically, because you play a game at Rutgers all the way to New Jersey. You're not going to want to fly all the way back to California and then say you have back-to-back road games and then come back to Michigan the next week. That's ridiculous.
Oh, I agree. Oh, we're at 193. That's a new high. Get a few more in here. Come on, we're going to hit that 200 mark. We're going to keep going. Let's get 190, 195 now. Yeah. So, get a few more people in here. We're going to keep rolling. Man, I can't believe we almost have 200 people in here.
Also, I do want to. I think we're going to answer Sean Hall's question here because I think that's a good question too. But I'd like to know what you guys think about USC and the Big Ten. Do you agree with me and Ho is kind of saying they're kind of screwed, and for the reasons that we alluded to, or what are your thoughts on USC to the Big Ten too? While we go ahead and talk about Sean Hall's question. There it is, though. That's 200.
Yeah, 200 mark right here. We appreciate it. Let's keep rolling. But yeah, let's talk about Sean's question. You want to lead us off, Brandon?
No, I'll let you go first. I'm
All right, sounds good. So what happens to Oregon? Oh, Oregon. They're not going to be left in the Pac-12. I really just don't see them sitting out there and staying. I don't think college football expansion is done. I don't think conference expansion is done. I think it's just really starting to go. I think Oregon somehow gets into the Big Ten at some point. Phil Knight has enough money and enough, name and everything else. Or could they somehow get into the Big 12? I know there's been reports of various schools that the Big 12 is going after 4 to 6 of their schools. And if that happens, I think Oregon is rumored to be one of those 6. I feel like Oregon, they're not going to be in the Pac-12. That's ultimately what I think. They will not be there.
I agree with you on that, but I think Oregon goes to the Big 12. I think the Big 12 is going to do their best to salvage the conference too, and I think they're going to get Oregon, Colorado, Arizona State, something like that. Maybe somebody else, but I think Oregon and Colorado. Colorado goes back to the Big 12. Oregon makes their Big 12 debut, but I see them going to the Big 12.
Yeah. The thing is also, if you're Oregon, well, this does suck, and they do end up in the Big 12, potentially going with 4 or 5 or 3, 4, 5 other schools, depending on what it is, maybe a total of 6 going in the Big 12. They have to be foaming at the mouth at the idea of, one, the Pac-12 would be gone. That means there'd be only 4 major conferences or it'd be the Power 4 conferences. They would be able to, could be in the playoffs every single year. I mean, they might not be in the most powerful conference out there in the SEC and the Big Ten, but they could compete and potentially be in the playoffs every single year in the Big 12.
Yeah, they have to go somewhere. Probably the Big 12. I don't look. The Big 10, didn't they already say that they're pretty much having to wait on Notre Dame to do any more expansion?
Well, I think the Big 10 does want Notre Dame.
Yeah, the Big 10 told Oregon and some to hold off because they're waiting for Notre Dame to figure out what they're doing.
Yeah. I don't think that is even. I'm not sure how that works, but I wouldn't say that's a very good possibility.
I think North Dakota State is a school to watch for in this realignment and conference mashups as a school that might sneak into a Power 5.
So here's the question. Also, talking about the Pac-12, is say those 6 schools. What you say was Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, Utah, Oregon, and Washington. What do the other handful of schools do? Oregon State, Stanford, Cal. Those are 3 off the top of my head. Do they go to the Mountain West?
Or they try to keep the Pac-12 alive and they take a North Dakota State and schools like that. North Dakota State.
Or they take
Boise
the Mountain
State,
West.
Boise State, yeah. They eliminate the Mountain West essentially and bring in North Dakota State on top of it.
I don't understand why. I mean, they might as well just try to get their way in with a big school in a different place. Because I mean, like, why would you try to? They're not going to get any decent amount of money. Definitely not what they're used to in the Pac-12, and they're not even getting a lot of money now with the money makers that are USC and UCLA. Just try to join into that group and make your way to the Big 10 or the Big 12, or maybe you can sneak into the SEC.
I was watching an interview with Kirk Herbstreit about this. He had this theory of it's going to ultimately be the SEC and the Big 10. It's just going to be like the AFC and the NFC. It's going to be 25, 30 teams in each conference. There's going to be divisions, and they're going to be, probably ultimately eliminating Big 10 and SEC championship games and opting for a longer playoff format, whether it's 8 or 12 or 16 teams. I'm not sure. I don't know. I just
does that, if that happens, does that eliminate teams who are not in the Big 10 or SEC from playoff contention? Could Oklahoma State never make I don't think they ever would anyway, but are they eliminated from playoff contention by not being invited to one of those 2 conferences? If this plays out, is that how that works?
I think ultimately, yes. But I will say, I think they would be one of the 60 schools that would be a part of that grouping. They have a good enough athletic program that I think they would be part of the one of 60-ish schools that would be considered eligible for that, in my opinion, anyway. Okay. Do you think college football North? Yeah, I feel like that's where we're heading. I think it's going to be over the next 10 to 20 years before it really gets to that point. I do think it's just going to be like an NFL, like a minor league football type format, which is fine with me. I mean,
I kind of like it and I kind of hate it at the same time. Just the college football fan in me is going to miss just seeing the Power 5 conferences. Like, just like the history of everything. I don't know. I'm a nerd for that kind of stuff. And seeing like USC Notre Dame. I mean, that's a bad example because I hate USC now, but like trying to think of like another game that we might lose because of this. Bedlam, that's going to be gone. That sucks, but like, it is what it is.
It does hurt to lose the tradition.
Is OSU taking over Big 12 as we know it? No, I think Cincinnati's the best team in the Big 12.
Let's go Bearcats.
I would argue that that Baylor, as long as Dave Aranda's there, would be better.
Oh yeah, Baylor. They're not leaving the Big 12, I guess. Yeah, Baylor's pretty good.
No, I think I saw it coming a little earlier from Matt Bingham. Do you all think David Hicks picks OU? We talked about this in the very beginning. Jose thinks he's going to Michigan State. Brandon, you think he's going to Texas A&M, right?
Yeah, I picked the Aggies. I think they'll pay him.
Yeah, I think ultimately it's going to come down to OU and Texas A&M, and I would say it's probably a coin flip with a 51% chance towards Texas A&M, in my opinion.
Here's the question too. Let's say he does really commit to Texas A&M. It was asked earlier, and I don't think we got a chance to address it. But at what point in time does Texas A&M start to see just a lot of these defensive line commits hit that portal? Because it's happening. At some point, it's happening. You can't have 12 5-stars in the same class at D-line before some of them start to transfer.
I think 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, because I think some kids are going to they're going to redshirt, and then they're going to try to compete for a spot, and then they're going to realize that they can't. So we're at about 177 people. For anyone that's just joining in on this channel for the very first time or who's been hesitant to hit the subscribe button, I know a lot of you guys have. Obviously, I can tell by your comments and everything else that I recognize a lot of these names. But anyone that's watching, just hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. And anyone that's subscribed right now, just turn on the notification bell, because we're going to be doing more live streams, more videos, more everything. Hopefully, we're going to do more interviews. So if you hadn't already, help us out with that. It's free.
That's a good question. What do you think?
Well, sorry, Jose clicked off of it. Best new rivalry OU gets with the SEC.
I got a beer for you, Keaton. I'll slam it. Drink responsibly.
Best new rivalry OU gets with SEC team. I think the two. It just depends on how they set it up. I think two schools that come to my mind, it's either Florida or LSU. That would be really cool. Being able to play LSU every year would be a lot of fun. But I could see where they're going to set it up. I mean, OU's going to play Missouri or Arkansas potentially every year, Texas obviously. But I
see Texas A&M.
I don't think Texas A&M is going to want it.
I don't think Texas A&M is going to want it, but I think the SEC, whoever the higher powers, can make that a matchup if we do pods or if we do divisions or whatever. And I would love to see that rivalry kind of renewed. And I don't have any cans, so I can't do any shotguns. For those asking for shotguns, unfortunately, I have bottles.
Okay, let's see. Over OU Florida, OU LSU, OU Ole Miss would be really cool. Being able to go down to the Grove. I think what I'm really excited about, obviously the SEC move is really cool, but the ability to go all of those stadiums and go into the away games. Won't that be a cool trips, go for 3 or 4 days or something, and pick a stadium, whether it's Rocky Top or the Swamp or
every single one is going to be so fun, except for the Swamp. I genuinely think Gainesville kind of sucks. Like there's nothing about the Swamp that gets me excited. Like truthfully, as a fan going to visit, that one does nothing for me. Kyle Field, I think, would be cool just because it gets, it's the home of the 12th man or whatever that gets loud. Alabama's Alabama. LSU. Tennessee is fun. Vanderbilt doesn't do anything for me, but I mean, it's
No.
Vanderbilt. I mean, Vanderbilt does just because it's in Nashville. I mean, there's never a bad time for a Nashville trip.
That is true. That's actually a really good point. That's why Vandy would be fun just for Nashville in general.
2 plane roads on the show, or 2 plane sports on the road. I can see it coming. Yes, we're gonna bring that to you once we get big enough.
I'm telling you, it's probably not going to be this fall season, but I think what's in the works is we're going to have a tailgate every home game. How cool would that be, Brandon? You're going to be a basic this year, and we just are not going to be able to do it. But next season, 2023.
Yes,
tailgate every
class.
single.
Hey, by the 2023 season, I will be a student at OU again. So like, I'll be there anyway.
That is true.
So
You're
we
gonna be
can
back
we
for
can
college forever.
We can definitely run a 2 plane sports tailgate. I'd love to see some of the viewers here. I think we'd have a good time. Sean, to answer your question, I did not get bottles specifically to avoid the shotguns. Actually, in fact, for the next one, I will come ready. Let's just say I owe y'all at least two shotguns on the next live.
Yeah, I've got how many more commits does OU get this month? 3. Probably. I'm pretty
that you're picking there. Are you going with
Well,
Smothers?
it could be 5, 6.
I hope it's 6.
I'm going to say Smothers. I think I'm very confident in LeBlanc, Kirkland, and then the other couple. It just depends on when their timeline is. Because could Cecilia Kana pull the trigger after his visit on the 29th really fast? Maybe. Could Jacoby Johnson commit? Maybe. Could Makari Vickers? I'm not sure.
LeBlanc, Smothers, Kirkland, and Jacoby. I feel like Smothers pretty good Thursday. We talked about the crystal balls and stuff leaning our way with LeBlanc and the social media action. Kirkland, I still have no idea. And then who was the last one?
Jacoby
Johnson. Jacoby Johnson was the last. I think Jacoby Johnson has a good chance. I just don't know when he's going to commit. My MOS is 15 Papa. Yeah, it's Airfield Aviation Specialist.
There you go. Yep. So we're probably going to be wrapping up this live stream. We'll go on for about 5 more minutes. Get to 9:30 Central. I think we should do another live stream in a couple weeks. What do you think next Monday, Brandon? Do you think we commit to that, or not?
Next
not
Monday?
This coming Monday, but the following. What's the day? What's the date on that one? That's the 25th, Monday at 8 p.m. Central, maybe.
Monday the 25th. That sounds good. Yeah, I'm totally down. Brody says Jacoby will not be committing this month.
Oh, actually, it looks like Jose might not be able to do it that night. He's talking about maybe August 1st. We'll have to talk about it. Maybe we can pick a different night and we'll figure it out. But yeah, I'm enjoying this live stream. What do you think, Brandon?
I agree. And I know that the Indy Sooner and Trav want to come on one of these live streams. So maybe we'll have some of them on at the beginning of the month too, if you guys are down for that.
Yeah, let's get a couple more questions. Get your last minute questions in. I think July's gonna be a great month for us.
Matt Bingham asked who the next to commit is. He said, "Is someone committing tomorrow?" No, the next commit is Thursday, and it's Dalen Smothers.
Well, however, Tar Heeled, I saw that he was in a Miami space.
Shotgun 5 beers. Hey, yeah. I will shotgun 5 beers in the next one, Bing, and if you shotgun 5 beers with me.
But yeah, Smothers, I definitely agree. Let's do. I've got an into live challenge. What kind of videos, recorded videos, would you guys like to see over the next few weeks? What are you looking for? Is there any specific topic we need to make a whole video on? Let us know what you think.
I hope so.
That'd be quite the NIL deal. How about
Future
Toby
shows
Rowland?
shotgun at 100 beers, another shotgun at 200s, make it a rule. I can do that. Toby Rowland. We can reach back out to Toby Rowland, see if we can get Toby Rowland back on. So you guys enjoyed the show with Toby?
Yeah, we can get Toby. Oh, Eichert and Teddy Lehman would be really fun actually to get him on.
That
here.
would be awesome. We can try to get them on. That could be tough.
I also saw from Jimmy Satterfield who will be the leading wide receiver. I think it's Mims.
I picked Jalil Farouk, and I'm sticking to it. I know it's not the common pick, but I'm gonna rock with Jalil Farouk.
So
The branch is not going to be for each commit of the month of July. Holy hell! You guys.
Oh man. Brody did say I would like to see a schedule breakdown.
Schedule breakdown? Yeah, we can do that. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Micah Eubanks said, "Any true to the rumor Anthony Hill has reached out back to OU?"
Hold on. Tua is not going to be injured. Tua is not going to be injured.
Yeah. The Anthony Hill rumor, to be honest, I didn't even hear that rumor. So I'm not 100% sure. That's actually something I need to look into. I think Brody said a schedule breakdown.
Yes, a schedule breakdown would be a fun video.
Yeah, as we get a little bit closer, I think later this month, beginning of August, we'll definitely get one of those out. That would be good. Any boot camp vids? Probably not.
I don't think that's a thing. But as soon as I get out of boot camp and I'm at AIT, I think I'll be able to at least hop on my phone and get on some of these pods with these guys.
Get Turnip Seed or J.R. Sandlin. Man, I'd love to.
We'd love to do that.
Yeah, we're going to have to see if we could do that.
He's back.
For all of these suggestions, boys, how about you guys just start harassing them on Twitter? Tell them go on 2 Plane Sports. Then they'll have to reach out to us, or at least reply to our DMs.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys can see 2 Plane Sports DMs, we pop off in the DMs trying to get guests for you guys, and I believe we have one tomorrow as part of the 2023 class if things go well. This player has agreed, so we're gonna follow it tomorrow and see if he follows through.
Hopefully he does. That should be a good one for us and some good content.
Justin Herbert is better than Tua at the moment.
No, he's better than him overall and in general. Your own top 25. That's actually a good suggestion.
That one's going to take some research, but I agree. That's a fun episode. We can definitely do a 2 Plane Sports top 25.
Yeah, we could do that as we get into late July, early August.
Is this a Zach Wilson situation by jumping in the DMs?
Oh, Zach. Yeah. He keeps it interesting. So, yeah, I mean, we hit 200 tonight. This is our third live stream, breaking records every single time in between our live streams. We'll be back on in the next 2 weeks or so. We'll be sure to keep you guys up to date. If you just joined or you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button. Help us out. Turn the notification bell. You hear me say this all the time. It's free. Another thing that we're working on is a 2 Planes membership. It's going to be a monthly membership that we haven't launched it yet. $4.99 a month. There's going to be access to more content. There's going to be earlier access to content, priority, comments and live chats and various other things. And be sure to be watching out for that. And Cougar Nation, a position review. Yeah, as we get closer and into July, August. Yeah, we could do a kind of a position breakdown and a run through as a preview. Hit the subscribe button, follow us on our social medias, and we'll be on here pretty soon.
I would love to bring some fans on during some of these live shows. Someone asked that. I would love to do that if we can figure out how to make that the logistics work and all that.
I think we're going to be able to. I think here pretty soon we'll be able to start doing some live call-in shows, which I think would be a ton of fun on this platform. We just got into this platform. We're going to figure it out before our next live stream, and maybe we can get you guys to call in, and I think that would be really.
How
fun.
many of you are interested in actually calling in? I know because I think that'd be a lot of fun. I would love to have as many as we can get to call in.
Yeah, I 100% agree. So, yeah, let us know what you think.
We can shotgun be. I would love that. I truly would love to have. Matt's been here for one of the longest. He's one of our realist viewers. We really appreciate your support. I would love to shotgun a beer with you, Matt. Same with you, Sean Hall.
Yeah. So, well, hit that subscribe button. We'll catch you guys next time. We should be back Wednesday morning at 9:30 Central for another video.
Yes, check it because we should have a member of the 23 chosen class on that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, all right. Well, we'll catch you guys on Wednesday. Be sure to, join in on the premiere. We'll be commenting, and we'll see you then. Okay.